Welcome, everybody, to the Advanced Selling Podcast, the longest-running sales training podcast in the history of podcasts. My name is Bryan Neal, and no Bill Caskey. No Bill Caskey, because this is a solo episode. Episode number 2 from yours truly, B. Neal. Coming to you live from the basement bunker of Shay Neal, B. Neal, in beautiful Indianapolis, Indiana. This is take number 4. Got my stuff set up here at home, recorded by myself this morning. A little shaky. Monday start. Forgot to put myself in the studio. Isn't that funny? Didn't put my own self in the studio. Put your whole self in, put your whole self out. You know what that is? You can put your whole self in, man. Shake it all about. Didn't do that, so had to re-record. That's okay. You are clearly a listener of the Advanced Selling Podcast. We're so thankful. Bill and I are so thankful, and we're doing something fun. He and I are going to start dropping midweek episodes, so you get to know us and our businesses a little bit more. You've gotten to know Bill through the insider. You get to know both of us together. Be like, what does Bill do? What does Bryan do? They always talk about having their own little businesses. What are those all about? So you're going to get to know us a little bit more one-on-one together. So Blind-Zebra, that's the website where you go find everything out about the Blind Zebra team, B. Neal, myself, and the Blind Zebra sales operating system that I talked to you about last time, and how to become certified, certified OC in the Blind Zebra sales operating system. Just keep in mind that is a corporate program. That's not an individual program. So the only way to get involved with us is to connect us and you with your chief revenue officer, your VP of sales, sales enablement person. The more the merrier on that initial call, and we'll take you through our 5-step process. It is pretty straightforward. Everything is time-based. We put a calendar, a mutual timeline agreement is agreed to. We talk about yellow flags, things that'll get in the way. We show you samples. We got a bunch of videos around frequently asked questions and problems. And we show you samples of the learning management system and the tools and everything you'd ever want to know. It's so easy to assess, to say, man, this is really cool, but no thanks. Or, man, this is really cool. Let's go. And we are going to be certifying our next round of operations coaches in the Blind Zebra sales operating system coming up very soon in the summertime. As part of that program, we are also going to host our second annual live meetup. Last year, we had 100 VPs of sales in Indianapolis in September. This year, we're expanding that. We will have 150 VPs of sales in Indianapolis. We will have 100 at least salespeople in Indianapolis in September. That's going to take place on September 10th, 11th, and 12th. September 10th, 11th, and 12th of 2024. September 10th, 11th, and 12th, 2024. If you're listening to this in 2030, you're still listening to the podcast. It's way past the date. Sorry. Probably sold the podcast by now. I'm just kidding. If you're listening to us now, though, in 2024, and more info to come, we want you to be there. And there's a way to buy your way in. But if you're an OC, you get to come as part of the deal. Okay? And really cool programming. Speakers are off the charts. We had some really cool speakers last year. Cool, like really cool speakers. We had David Meltzer, who ran Lee Steinberg Sports Agency. We had Angelo Pizzo, who wrote the movie Rudy, and the movie Hoosiers was with us. We had Marshall Falk. He's in the Hall of Fame. We had him with us. We had some really cool speakers. You should hang around Blind Zebra a little bit. We bring some really cool people together. And that's just to get going. We had some really, really cool, great sales stuff. We have a private sushi dinner at our house for all y'all. It's really cool. So anyway, hang around us. All right, let's get to the episode, shall we? I thought about, Bill and I always, we always think of yuck it up a little bit or think of something. And I thought, it's usually me and Bill like playing off of a thing that we do together. And I couldn't really think of anything. So I'm just going to let that slide. I'm also trying to be, as I get older, I'm trying to be less complaining. I don't want to be a complaining old man. And I feel like all we do is like this pet peeve complaining stuff. And I just don't want to be that way. I want to be happy and notice things that are good. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to be more that way. So I went to my wife's church, and it was a really good service. And I'm Catholic, and she goes to like a mega church, which is a really, really different, unique experience. And so I always cry when I go to her church, but it was a really good thing. So I'm trying to spread good love and get good messages. So I'm going to say those sorts of things instead of things like babies that cry on airplanes annoy me. Because they do. Anyway, let's see. I'm going to talk to you today about the attributes of a fantastic operating system. What are the attributes of a great sales operating system. We mentioned last time in last episode, I told you that you've got maybe pieces and parts of an operating system. It probably isn't organized and it's likely not detailed. And it's probably different salesperson to salesperson. You probably have some sort of playbook, which is really more the playbook to a process or like some operational things like how to enter a lead into Salesforce. That's fine. That's real operation mechanical. This is more about how you operate the system externally within and outside in the marketplace. So how do I go find a lead? How do I leverage LinkedIn to get a first meeting and a warm introduction? How do I make sure that my LinkedIn stays stoked? How do I put a LinkedIn action plan together? How do I create my own personal business plan? And how do I create an accountability triad to hold me accountable to that? How do I create productivity pods so that I have specialized time on my calendar for normally procrastinated activity, things like that? How do I keep my CRM clean and up to date? Those are things that are in the Blind Zebra sales operating system. Those are specifics. What I want to talk today about is what are the more broad attributes that any good sales operating system should have. And by the way, there aren't very many sales operating systems in the way that we define ours. And even the word we give it, it would fit more in a methodology, I think. If you're going out into the world saying, am I Medic or Challenger or Sandler, you would call it more of a methodology. But I'm telling you, it's different than those two because those things just don't touch. And I've been through all of them. I'm telling you, the things we teach are nowhere to be found in those things. Bits and pieces, yes, but by the most part, you're going to find stuff in our operating system that you will not find anywhere else. So, what are some broad attributes? Here's the first one. I mentioned it last time. It's my favorite thing. And it is the duh factor. A great operating system at its core is ridiculously simple. It is ridiculously simple. I am from a really small town in southern Indiana. My family, if you hung out with my family, we are extremely simple people. My Aunt Rosie, I've got them all. I've got an Aunt Betty Joe, an Aunt Mary Lou, an Uncle Ronnie, an Uncle Jimmy. These are my aunts, an Uncle Larry. These are my people. You can't make this up. Okay. Simple people. Y'all are laughing, especially those of you who got the same thing. I'm just missing an Uncle Kenny and Uncle Randy. But I'm telling you, we're simple. My Aunt Rosie, she had this little magnet, not magnet, but a little, what do you call it? Little thing you sit on the countertop there. Said, sometimes I sits and thinks, sometimes I just sits. That's how simple of a life I came from. Our operating system is so simple. When you see it, you almost can't believe that it needed to be written. You're like, this is so simple. You're like, why didn't I think of this? But I'm telling you, when I audit, I'll take any tool I've written, any tool in the sales operating system, and I'll go to your sales team and I will audit your sales team for the things that are in here. I'll audit you. And you think you're doing these things, and you are partially, but you are not going all the way through. And that's the difference. That's the difference. You're not going all the way to the end. You're going part of the way. You're going almost there. And it's not working. And you wonder why it's not working. It's not working because you're not going all the way. There's some really detailed elements that make it, they're super simple to do, but when you don't do them all the way, they don't work as well. And all this stuff I've taught you, or I'm teaching you and putting in the system, all this stuff I've been teaching for 25 years. We've got crazy, stupid success. I'm talking about companies selling to private equity firm success, like gazillionaires. And they did that. We built this out this way with them. The custom, but it's fantastic. So it's got to be simple at its core. Without question, it's got to be simple. Okay. Next, speed to value. You got to look at an operating system and say, how quickly can I get bang for the buck? And I'm going to give you a tool at the end of this episode that will create instant value for you. I promise it'll create instant value. I may give you two. I don't know. I'm in a good mood now. I was in a bad mood today. Usually not in a bad mood. I wasn't in a bad mood. It's kind of funky. Anyway, it's got to go with speed to value. It's got to be super simple. And you got to go speed to value. Most things that I've seen in a marketplace in our sales development, if you go methodology stuff, so you go Challenger, you go Medic, you go Spin, you go Miller Hyman. There's a lot of learning. There's a lot of piling. There's a lot of stuff you have to practice to get good at over a long period of time to get value. They're all going to say, no, I'm telling you, when we went through the first certification class, we intentionally did our original class with 3 companies that knew us not at all. They had never heard of Blind Zebra on purpose. Okay. That was all on purpose. Cause I said, I don't want any reputational, money in the bank. I don't want people to, we know Bryan, we know Blind Zebra's grow. I want people that don't know us at all. I'm going to test this stuff for real raw. So we had some skeptics in the room. This one dude, skeptic in the room getting certified. They already paid for it. He's skeptic. Taught him this tool. Fixes stalled deals really quick. Day 1, he goes, you know what? I'm going to do this right now. I got 2 deals I'm working on. I'm going to do it right now. I'm like, do it. Now, I had no idea. Stuff's not perfect. It's not pixie dust. Promise I'd charge more if it was. Dude sent executed this tool on 2 different deals. Okay. One of them, instant appointment. Next one, email back. Can't do that date. Could we do another date? Appointment set about an hour later. 2 appointments set, 2 for 2. Doesn't always work that way. Instant value though. So what I want to tell you is if you're going to install an operating system, don't do it in this kind of build up work, that sort of thing. The operating system has to work fast and it's got to work now. And that's what the Blind Zebra sales operating system, that's how it's organized. That is a counterintuitive approach to building these things. So many people want to build too much foundation over time. Get quick hits fast. Quick hits fast. Is that like a double superlative? Double positive? Get quick hits fast. You know what I'm saying? And I get what you want. Believe me, I was that guy. Let's build the foundation, man. Let's lay the groundwork, right? Don't want to be a house of cards here, man. Let's lay some groundwork. You can do groundwork and really quick jump to something that works really fast. I'm telling you, without mucking up the groundwork. Okay. So you got to find quick hits fast. You know why? Because when you're putting a new operating system in, oftentimes we're salespeople. We're a little cowboyish, right? We resist. You do this and you get quick hit. Guess what? When's the next tool coming out? When can I learn the next thing? Because that one worked brilliantly. I want the sales team to buy into what I'm doing. And the way to buy in is to give them quick hits, quick hits, quick. That's the second thing. Okay. And then the third element, without question, is we have to have a spirit of what I'm going to say pivot. I'm trying to do this without bashing other people. I'm hesitating. I'm a forward thing. You know, Bill and I, if you listen to the Advanced Selling podcast, you know, Bill and I think of the next new thing. We always do. We love that. Love the shiny thing. And we've got stuff that works, like fundamental stuff. But I will tell you this. A good operating system has got to be able to pivot. It's got to be able to nuance itself quickly. I'm going to give you a very specific example that is a real example where one of the tools that I was one of my fondest tool. I love this tool. Literally in the development of the operating system became obsolete. I'm going to tell you what it is. I taught a tool called the Question Bank. We made a tool in the system. We call it the Question Bank Creator. It solved the problem of salespeople not knowing what to ask on sales calls and or not being very good at asking a lot of follow-up questions. Salespeople were average at asking questions. So to solve that, we have a Question Bank Creator. We made a spreadsheet, 4 columns, technical, intellectual, emotional, strategic. We had 2 meetings to brainstorm questions in all 4 of those categories. That would create a list of between 30 to 50 questions. Those lived inside of a wiki document within the company, and the sales team that would pull the document out and prep for a sales call by pulling questions out and all this stuff. Okay. That's what it was in there. I made 44 tools to start. We whittled it down to the top 12 for highest value first. It was in the top 12. And then guess what? I started playing with ChatGPT. I'm like, I wonder if I could do this with ChatGPT. So I go to ChatGPT and I'm like, hey, ChatGPT, I've got to call the CFO. I sell fintech software, and I'm calling on a CFO of a credit union with 4 branches. Please give me 25 sales questions to ask. Make some strategic, some tactical, and some emotional. Enter. Boom. 25 questions in 2 seconds. I'm like, we don't need a freaking question bank. It's obsolete. It's over. So I'm telling you, a good operating system has got to be nimble. It's got to be able to flex. We've got some operating systems that aren't operating systems. They're actually methodologies rolling around the world that have been the same thing for decades and decades and decades. And I was trained in them, and they haven't evolved at all. And you know what I'm talking about. And I'm trying not to say names. I was trained in them. I've got the books on my desk. The same book that I had on my desk in 1989 is the same book that I got when I went back through it in 1997. It's the same book that my client gave me in 2004. It's the same thing over and over. The argument there is that stuff works, man. Stuff works. It's got to evolve, though. It's got to evolve. Core can say the same. It's got to evolve. It's got to evolve. Okay. It's got to be nimble. All right. So we got to be nimble. Got to be nimble. It's got to be easy. It's got to be quick value. If you're going to put an operating system into place, if you're going to try to make your own, make sure it does those 3 things. Make sure it's nimble, make sure it's quick value, and make sure it's super, super, super simple. Okay, I got time for a tool. I'm going to give you one quick tool. Easy tool to do. Okay, this is in the Blind Zebra Sales Operating System. Freebie. Here you go. Freebie alert. It's called the CRM Clean-Up tool. CRM Clean-Up. Here's what's great about this one. If you do the whole operating system the right way, you only need this tool for about 2 months. Then it also becomes obsolete because you do all the other stuff well. You don't need this one. If you open up your CRM right now, go to your open opportunities, go to the projected close date. You're a salesperson. Guarantee. Sales leaders love this. Guarantee you have anticipated close dates that are in the past. I'm a science geek. I know through physics. I love science so much. I watch all those shows on Discovery. I know from watching all those shows that you can travel forward in space. It's physically possible to travel forward in space. Forward in time, you can do that. You cannot travel backward. You cannot do that. So there is no way in hell that you can close a deal in the past. You cannot do that. Okay. Yet you have them in the past. And you're going to say, oh, Bryan, man, just haven't updated it yet, man. It's still alive. Just haven't updated it yet. No, I know. I'll just bump the date forward. When are you going to bump the date forward to? You're going to randomly pick some date in the future. So anyway, that's better than nothing. So cleanup is just this. All you do on the last Thursday of every month until you don't need to do it anymore, from 4 to 4:30 local time. On the last Thursday of every month, from 4 to 4:30 local time, until you don't need to do this anymore, you spend that half hour cleaning up Salesforce. Whoops. Cleaning up your CRM. We use Salesforce. That's why I said that. Okay. HubSpot, Sugar, whatever you use, Microsoft CRM, whatever you use, got to say them all now or get in trouble. Okay. Whatever you use, that's what you do. Zoho, got to get them all in now. All right. 4 to 4:30 last Thursday so that you go into every month clean. Now, VPs of sales, listen to me. Forward this to your VPs of sales. What happens? They hammer you all the time. What's a forecast, forecast, forecast? And think about this. They're asking you, and you want to give a forecast that's real and not embarrassing. Those are 2 things, real and not embarrassing. Okay. Real enough, not embarrassing. You're still scared, though, that you hope most of the stuff comes in. And they have to go and take all the sales team stuff, and they have to go to the board or the CRO and the CFO and go, hope it's real enough and it's not embarrassing. Those 2 things. Okay. It's got to balance those 2 things. And they're dealing with what's in the CRM. So it's got to be clean. We've got to have it clean. We can't have dates in the past, because if I can't trust that little bitty easy data point, then what else can I not trust? And we don't do ourselves any favors. We think it's no big deal. It's a huge deal. It really is. And believe me, I'm a guy that had to really, really, really get okay with using CRM the right way. Okay. I'm not natural that way. So I'm with you, but we got to get good at this. So all the notes, any updated stuff, anything that needs to be cleaned up. One of my clients said, we want the CRM so clean you could eat off of it. I like it. Little dorky, but I like it. We want the CRM data so clean we could eat off of it. Send that quote to your CFO. Here's what happens for you. They get off of your they get off of your tail. They will leave you alone. If you do this, they will leave you alone. If not, you're constantly playing catch up and the pressure's on you. I don't want the pressure to be on you. So take the pressure off of yourself by executing the CRM cleanup tool that's in the Blind Zebra Sales operating system. Just do this. Okay. Some of you don't need to do this. It's really clean. You're good. No problems. You don't even need the tool. Most of you do. Most of you do. And you got to make sure all the dates are clear, all the notes are clear. And the more you get into the system, the more you see everything gets precise. So no longer will every close date be on the 30th of the month. If you look at Blind Zebra's close dates, none of them are on the 30th of the month. That's what yours are all on the 30th of the month because you don't use the operating system. You just randomly choose dates in the future. Ours are on specific dates because that's how we operate a clean and efficient system. So we can predict with extreme clarity what's going on. You should be able to predict your income that way. And you can't because you're guessing. We're trying to get you out of the guesswork thing. All right. So that's CRM cleanup. All right. So I'm going to keep doing some episodes where I'm going to pull out some of this operating system stuff and teach it to you. Because I think when you hear these things, you're like, man, some of these things you can put in play yourself. And I just want to educate you a little bit about what we do. I'm accessible all over the place, right? LinkedIn, obviously. Bryan, Bryan at blind-zebra.com, Bryan at blind-zebra.com. Go to blind-zebra.com. If you want to learn how to become certified, remember it's a corporate gig, you got to put us in touch with your VP of Sales, CRO, and or your sales enablement group. And you all together at once would be the best thing to do. And we can walk you through exactly what this thing looks like. Certification in an operating system is a really cool thing these days. The math is pretty simple in terms of what it costs corporately. It's just not an individual thing. So I don't want you to think that you can come pay the money yourself. But boy, from a company standpoint, you have 10, 50, 100, 200, 400 salespeople. It's an easy check to write. I'm telling you, it's a really, really good thing. So that's it. Stay tuned for some more individual exercises. I'm going to keep playing with my little, roadcaster here. So I will see you next time on the Advanced Selling Podcast. Cheers, all.